Hello, listeners, and welcome to a special MakCorp podcast where we're interviewing JP from Galan Lithium, ASX code GLN. And wow, what a run Galan Lithium is having over the last couple of weeks, listeners. But without further ado, I will introduce JP. JP, welcome to the MakCorp podcast, and thank you for joining me.
Well, thanks very much for the invite.
Wow, what a time for you over the last few weeks, JP.
Yeah, well, it's been fantastic. We're very excited about the market reaction to great news, by the way. This is a bit of a dream from our end. The main catalyst from Galan is we have increased our resource base after finalising the purchase that we announced in February from Portofino, so that got done.
Further land, further ground,
and then a new resource estimate. So that resource estimate combined from Hombre Muerto West plus Candelas now is bigger than the transaction from Galaxy to POSCO that happened last year. So POSCO bought approximately 2.54 million tonnes of lithium carbonate equivalent. We are sitting at around 3 million tonnes. So we have
high grade.
And this is fantastic. Finally, we got a continuous piece of land. Hombre Muerto West is our flagship project. The dimensions are around 7.5 kilometers long, but 2.5 maximum in width, and we know that's quite deep. In some parts, one of the drill holes went to 718 meters, and with high-grade lithium all the way. So,
listeners, I wish you could see the excitement on JP's face. It's amazing to see.
So
let's just go through what's happened since our last podcast in August. So, and which a lot's happened. So let's sort of start with September and leading up to the great last couple of weeks.
Since last time we've spoken, we have delivered 3 cubic meters of brine to the labs of Universidad de Antofagasta in Chile. So that brine is being trial and tested with initial chemical model, because we want to have hard data to back up the study that we're doing with Worley. And
hang on, you just reminded me of something, JP. Have you got any of that for me to taste like you did last time?
yeah, that's quite salty. It's very salty. So
So the lab test work, that's just confirming everything, all the belief.
We are processing that. We doing as many tests, and I'm bringing new brine to the lab in due course. We want to keep testing, and actually, one run is not enough for me. I need to make runs, because I want to get this right. And before moving into the next stage of pre-feasibility and subsequently feasibility, we want to get work with them.
Just confirm what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Best way to go.
One number is not enough. There's one trial is not enough to say that we made it. So this is a marathon. This is it's a chemical exercise, and hence.
I like the way you put that, a marathon, because it is in getting a project up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we understand the challenges ahead, but we got the right people also working for us, and we still, we're keeping an eye on the ball. This is important because we understand that this is, you cannot make this happen in overnight. And
having said that, you've achieved a lot in a small amount of time. Now, in this time, you've also done a cap raise.
Yes, we did. With Argonaut, we raised $3 million in October. So we were, oversubscribed. We have to cap it at 3. It was well received.
Yes.
And we did it at 13 cents back then. And look, it's times were very different before the election. The future was looking very grim. Now we have a bit more clarity where things are going. And the lithium market has, as everyone's seen, it's in a turnaround, and the interest in the electric vehicle is stronger than before. If you look at the data from China, I was reading a report from S&P, and they're indicating that the lithium carbonate price internally in China is now keep going up, even small amounts, but for the third week.
But heading in the right direction.
So this is great news. And the expectation where things are going, you see in the news from the UK, which are quite aggressive and, raises some question marks. But anyway, it's the market wants to happen. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Now, that cap, that'll take you through to 2021 of activities into 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. We're funding to keep going with the next leg of pre-feasibility. But we'll assess things as they've developed. We weren't expecting to be, to hit all high of 32 cents that we did a few days ago. So
nice surprise. But well deserved. I mean, I think last time we did the podcast, I'm no financial analyst, but I certainly looked at your share as undervalued, and now it's where it should be, and the markets recognise that.
And I'm pleased to see that. And everything that we're doing is trying to be an investment, so that can be reflected on our share price, and so our shareholders can be rewarded.
Yep.
And it's
there'll be some happy shareholders.
Absolutely. And so far, with the context of there's been a pandemic, sending the 3 cubic meters of brine to Chile from Argentina, it was an epic.
Look, that's another amazing, like the achievement you guys are doing in 2020, considering the pandemic and everything that's happening in the world, is remarkable.
Well, that shows...
And it shows you got good people in a good team.
The strength of my team. I mean, I take my hat to the guys in Argentina and Chile. We're a very small team. We don't have...
Well, I'm going to put a surprise question here to you, JP. But I suppose the only frustration you have is not being able to get to the project.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I miss being with the guys, and we've been we'll be sending more brine to Chile in the near future, and when those things are done, I just want to have a better sense of how advanced we are, and having been there for a year.
And thank them,
Yeah, and it just. I have invested quite a bit of time before with them, probably a year and a half in Argentina, all my time off in the last 3 years. But I'm pleased with the team, the guys in Argentina, the guys in Chile, and the support I get from the board here in Australia. So
that's what it's all about. You got support everywhere where it counts.
Correct.
But what I'd like to sort of finish on is a bit more discussion around the resource and where you're going with that over the next sort of 12 months. Because obviously it's already exciting.
It's very exciting. And if you compound that excitement, if you've seen Galaxy's raising money now to go ahead with the Sal de Vida project. Which is more good news for you. Absolutely. They are our neighbours. We're neighbouring next to Candelas, and the commitment to develop this project shows that this is it.
It is an area of excitement and opportunity.
Correct. They're seeing that they can develop this, and they're seeing the potential where things are going in the future. And Sal de Vida would be, in my view, the flagship asset down the track. Now,
what I'd like to do is, without mentioning any of the competitors, but where does your resource and grade sit with other projects in the area?
Well, Galaxy is it's bigger, but not that much bigger to what we are now.
Yep.
They have a resource.
That's
upside,
a nice comparison.
And they have a resource upside. They could be a bit more bigger, but then it becomes: do you need to be that big? And the answer, if you look at Hombre Muerto West, we have close to 2.3 million tons, and the operating asset in the area today is Livent. That's been there for 27 years, producing lithium carbonate equivalent, and the production, by the way, gets most sold to Japan, to Panasonic, and that goes into Teslas.
Yeah.
So when people say
that goes around the world.
When people say from lithium brines you cannot get quality product, and that's not really true, because the lithium battery started in Argentina with Sony handicaps in the 90s, and that was Hombre Muerto's brine, by the way. So fast forward, and now that's Tesla's batteries with Panasonic, and Tesla chooses Panasonic because of the quality.
Yeah.
So we want to prove that we can do the same thing, and this is our challenge. And but I'm going back to the exercise. Livent is producing, give or take, 20,000 tons of lithium carbonate equivalent per year. We have 2.3 million tons now at Hombre Muerto West. Convert that to reserve, and even if you want to deduct more than 50% and say, look, we have a million tons of reserves, which is what Galaxy has. This is a potential exercise.
Good mine life.
Then you have under 20,000 tons, which is Livent's production. Then you got, 50 years.
Yep. Good.
So, and Galaxy is pointing at 20. So, when 50,000 tons, 1 million tons, you got 50 years mine life. So, it's a tier one sort of development. And the important things of Hombre Muerto, and that's why Galaxy is there, that's why POSCO is there, you could achieve low cost.
You're hitting on a point I was just wanted you to discuss. So, how do costs compare with the other projects?
Well, if you compare the current data that Livent is showing for the production of lithium carbonate, they are showing around the $3,500 a ton.
Yep.
So that is competitive within the cost curve of the in the lithium industry.
Excellent.
So that's you look at the data there in the 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong, that was or 3 years ago when the last study that was published by Galaxy was, and the numbers are very similar. And I would like to think that we could be somewhere in that vicinity down the track. We're still finalizing our study. Wall is performing the study, and I'd like to disclose that as soon as it's available done, and the indications is that this quarter is definitely the point in timing that we like to release that study, and it's exciting. So it's very been in a
lack of sleep in a good way, I suppose.
Yeah, and look, this Hombre Muerto is a hot lithium hub. You know, they're not coincidence chemically as why POSCO.
Yeah, it's a proven area.
Yeah. And we proven that our thesis was, can we prove we have the same? And the answer is yes. Now, can we prove they have a lot? And now we overtook POSCO, and that's fantastic. Yeah. And now, who to look at? Probably today, with what I understand, and the technology is being used, just look at companies like Millennial listed in Canada. So Millennial, you look at New Lithium, these are Canadian listed companies, but they got that sort of whereabouts project, and this is what I would like to start pointing out down the track.
Yep.
As where I see the potential peers for Galan.
Excellent. I suppose we'll just finish off then. I mean, obviously there's been a lot happening over the last sort of 3 or 4 months, and a lot happening in the next 12 months. My last question to you is, now with the share price doing so well, why should people still consider investing in Galan now?
Well, as I just pointed out, look at where Millennial is, look at where 3Q is. I'm not saying that we should have the same market cap, but there's
potential.
The potential, yeah, and even that's the direction that we're going to go. So this is a marathon, as I was explaining. So invest in Galan if you believe in the lithium revolution. If you have a long-term view about lithium, that's why
I think we have to be in lithium, don't we?
Well, the market is turning, and it's exciting. So we have our samples to the lab. It's a lot of work done. And we expect to have some time in the next in December and January results, and then we like to start sharing with the market but it's a lot more work. That's not definitive of the
no rest for the wicked.
Yeah. It's a more brand coming up, and that's important to us to keep testing, to keep trying, and get a better understanding and handle where things are moving.
Excellent. All right, well, look, I really appreciate your time today, JP, and thank you for sharing your insights into your project and Galan.
Well, thanks very much, Steve. These conversations are, always been great, so thank you for that.
No, I'll enjoy them myself, and hopefully our listeners do as well. Thanks again.
Cheers.